For a man of your years.
Alright, fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And in this video here, we're going to be talking about the whole, I don't know, rally, riot, whatever you want to call it, down in Charlottesville. And I figured I'd just give my 2 cents on the whole topic. Mostly I keep all my commentaries or anything I'm talking about gaming related, or either stuff related to gaming, anime, superheroes, you know, stuff that I'm interested in as a anime nerd stereotype person. Right? But I figured I'd give my thoughts on the whole thing and just, I guess, racism as a whole. And being a black man, I'll be 34 this week. Being a black man who's 34 in America, it's, you know, I guess it, you know, can be hard at times, I guess. More so coming up than now, because now I feel like I'm jaded as fuck, where it's like, I don't care. You know, I really don't care about what other people think. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I see other people getting fucked up, like with the whole Charlottesville thing, and it's like, it seems like every like 2 or 3 years something else will happen, and it's just like, I'm tired of hearing about it. You know, it's like, I don't understand people. I really don't. I feel like I'm so out of touch with the younger generation, or with how would I describe it? Or with things that other people talk about, you know? And I can sort of somewhat understand that. Like me, myself, I've always been, my whole life, not necessarily the, you know, the ostracized person, you know? Like nobody pushed me away. But I've always been the person I like to be on my own. I like to do my own thing. I'm not gonna like what other people like. Like, if you guys can understand what I'm talking about. So for me, I don't really follow a lot of the stuff that other people and other kids that are, or adults rather, let me say kids. You know, like it's like I don't think none of the kids are into the same stuff I'm into, really, like that, or vice versa. But I don't really follow the mainstream stuff like that, only because none of the normal stuff that people are into interests me at all. Like, I could say that about music, rappers, politics, you know, anything that normal people talk about, like reality shows, none of that bullshit, right? So it's just like, I just don't feel like I understand people. And when it comes to racism in general, right, I can understand the mindset, you know, like I can understand how it can, let's say, fester, you know, but to me, I don't understand how, you can hate somebody so much without reason. That's a big key thing in there, without reason, that you will want to hurt somebody else. I mean, I really can't. Like, to me, it's like the only way that something could get me to hate somebody else that much, where I want to kill them, like, you have to hurt a family member or something like that, or like, I don't know, like kill a kid or something, and I just happen to be right there, like a grown man just shoots a kid in the face, something like that, right? It's just like, it has to be something extreme like that. Or let's say, not necessarily racism against me, because, like, as I said, being black in America, you know, you kind of deal with that. But let's say, like, if a group of white supremacists was trying to hang me, you know, then I'm not gonna give a fuck. I'm gonna kill some of them, you know, before they take me out. That's just how, you know, that's just how I am. And it's unless it's something like that personal. You know what I'm saying? That would get me to actually hate somebody that much, right? But just somebody, you know, who has a different religion or a different belief, or he's a different political party than what I am. Like, I don't care. You know, like, I may make a joke about it, like, excuse me. Like with, you know, Trump being in office. I hate the fuck out of Trump. And I think everybody who voted for him was a damn idiot. But, I mean, that's the country we live in. To each their own. I might make a joke about him. I'm not going to hate him and want to kill him because somebody voted for Trump or because somebody is a white supremacist and they hate black people or they hate people of other races. I mean, it's like, nah. I mean, it's not that serious because at the end of the day, like, I'm somebody, like, if I truly hate somebody, I don't care. Fuck them. You know, I'm not gonna deal with them. I'm not gonna. My life is not gonna intersect with theirs at all. I'm just gonna, you know, do my own thing. You know, if you don't like what I do, okay, fuck them. You know, you know, like if I hate something like that or dislike somebody like that, it's like they're not gonna take up the smallest iota of my time in my mind as far as, like, you know, what I'm thinking about. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big a deal to me. It's the same thing, you know, and I treat it, you know, the same way as, like, I treat YouTube or like, let's say, like, people who dislike me, even though I don't really have a lot of people like that in my life, but, mostly because, I mean, I'm an even-going person. I'm laid back. I don't let things get to me. When somebody comes up to me and be like, oh, fuck you, you black, whatever, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Well, fuck you too. You know, and that's it. It's just, because I don't know, maybe I have a different mindset than most people. You know, maybe it's how I was raised and how my parents raised me and my family. I don't know. But my level of manhood, my maturity, I feel sometimes is higher than most. I mean, maybe I have a bit of an ego when it comes to that kind of sort of thing. I don't know. I don't think I do. But, or at least that's just what I feel like. A lot of people seem very immature in what they think or what they do or how they react to certain people, and it's just like I'm looking at it like you know, it's like you can see everything. It's kind of like how would I explain this on the microphone here to have it kind of make sense? Because it's like I know what I want to say, but I'm trying to figure out my words and how to say it. Kind of like if you guys have ever seen The Matrix. You know, the end scene of the first Matrix movie when Neo actually sees the Matrix and he can see how things work. A lot of times, and it's probably how my dad raised me and my brothers when we was coming up as kids, but he used to play like a lot of psychological games with us. Not necessarily as far as, oh, I'm doing this to fuck with my kids, but he was doing them to get us to think like adults and to think about every action that we did. And so when I see other people, it's like you can read their reactions and know exactly what they're going through, or you know exactly when somebody's fucking with somebody or fucking with them, so that you know it's like, okay, they're just saying whatever it is just to fuck with somebody else, just to see how riled up they can get you, you know, kind of like trolling in real life. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I just don't understand how some people can, like, for those of you who don't know, at the rally, let me just, you know, get to the crux of the commentary here. We're not going to get too in depth with it. I'm just giving my thoughts off the top of my head. I don't have nothing written down. But at the rally, they were having a rally. I don't really know all the details or as far as all of the particulars. So, but basically, you had people who were, let's say, white supremacists and believe in all of that kind of sort of stuff. And then you had a bunch of people who were, you know, the other way, who didn't believe in all that kind of sort of stuff. And normally, whenever you have two groups like that get together in any shape or fashion, it's just like a riot waiting to happen. So while they were having this display of emotion, because that's all it was, this one white guy, or at least I think he was white, took a car and just like drove into like 12 people. I think he killed one, injured a bunch of other people. And I just can't understand why you would do something like that. You know, number one, you're gonna get caught. You know, which he did. It was like they had the whole thing on camera when he did it. You know, you know you ain't gonna get away with it. And two, you're not solving anything. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not solving anything. So why do it? Don't understand that. And it's like all you're doing is just fucking up somebody else's life. Because now the people who lived they're going to probably be injured for the rest of their lives, if they're lucky. The one, I think it was a woman who died. The one chick, she's fucking dead, so she's gone. Her family is going to be ruined for the rest of her fucking, for the rest of their fucking lives. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't understand. Why can't people just protest peacefully? I don't understand that. On both sides. I'm not saying this from like somebody who like, I hate the fuck out of racism. And I don't agree with nothing but white supremacists said, believe in or say, but it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, look, we live in America. I don't like what they got to say, but guess what? They have their right to protest.
I play to win.
It is what it is. Just like we have our right to protest against them. It's I just don't see why we can't let them have their day and we have our day. It's like, come on. You protesting and getting all big and bad or whatever. Okay, that's just, you may change public opinion or you may get some more people on your side, but that works both ways. You know what I'm saying? And you arguing at each other to other people, let's say, one group of people arguing against another group of people, it's not going to solve anything. You're not proving your point. You're not proving their point. It's just you just both groups arguing. It's like having a couple and they're mad at each other and they're just arguing about different things that they hate about each other. But it's like they're arguing. They're not talking. They're not communicating. They're not figuring out the root of the problem. And that's the thing when you deal with racism is kind of, it's kind of hard to define a problem because at the end of the day there is no problem. How I see racism is one of those things that just humanity has to deal with at the end of the day. Because if we was all the same color, let's say if we was all black or all white or all purple, it wouldn't be skin color. It would just be something else. It would be the fat people versus skinny people. Or the people who have brown eyes versus the people who have blue eyes. I mean, it would just jump to something else. Have and have nots. Rich versus poor. That's why you always see dynamics when it comes to human history. It's always one side or another side. Muslims and Christians. And in reality, in a lot of ways, both sides are fucked up. Maybe not so much as racism, because it's one of those things where I'm not going to say one is good and one is bad, but it just depends on your perspective, just like religion. People always jump to religion and, oh, Christians have it right. Oh, God is good and all this kind of sort of shit. And then, you got the Muslims on their side, and you got a lot of people over in America hating Muslims because they don't understand what being Muslim is. And same thing with Muslims over in the Middle East. They hate America because they're only shown the ones who are terrorists and stuff like that. I'm not saying all Muslims because I have a couple friends who are Muslims and they're like some of the nicest people I know. But a lot of the terrorists and stuff like that is just like ingrained. Excuse me. It's just like ingrained racism over here when it comes to like black versus white. Same thing. If you're only told one facet of something and you connect with it some kind of way, you're only going to see one side of something. It's kind of like like the old adage where they say if you go looking for a problem, you'll be sure to find it. So if it's kind of like those conspiracy theory people, same difference with them. If all you see is conspiracies, that's all you're ever going to see. And with racism, I think it works the same way. The same thing goes with religion. Like some people see God in like everything in the world that they interact with. And I don't understand why, even with religious people, a lot of them are cool. But there's a lot of religious people who religion is the same thing as politics and racism. You can't accept that somebody else just has a different viewpoint than you or a different opinion. It's like you have to try to prove them wrong or try to validate your own position by giving what you know. And it's the same thing, you see it online. Like it's the same dynamic across damn near everything. Hell, even YouTube comments. Let me take it there. I upload this video. There's going to be one person in the comment who don't agree with what I'm saying. Or I make a video talking about, oh, fuck Destiny. Destiny was a sorry-ass piece of shit game. And then there's that one guy in the comments, oh, kill yourself, you don't understand the game, and you this and this and this. And again, he's justifying his position based on the fact that he likes the game and he hates when other people don't like it. Same dynamic, different subject matter, you know? So that's why I said, I mean, racism is probably going to be one of those things where if, let's say, somebody came out with a genetic bomb and just made everybody one color or one race, you know, just magically, like over like 10 years, like over like a 10-year period, I mean, it would just flip to something else. I mean, that's the sad truth, but humanity, for whatever reason, we are collectively stupid. I don't know why, but we are. And there's a lot of people out there who aren't, you know, stupid, who don't care about none of that minor bullshit. But that's not the majority, or at least not yet. So typically you have just everybody else. And a lot of people only see one facet of something, like I was saying before. They don't ever do research. You know, they get caught up into one line of thinking, and they jump into that, and they can't never see anything else or see any other sides or any other pictures. And it works both ways. You know, white people hate black people or hate Hispanics or whatever. And then you got black people who, because we went through all the racism and segregation and all of that bullshit and slavery, they hate white people or only see white people in a certain way. And at the end of the day, it's just, like I said, two sides of the same fucking coin. You know? Or every time there's like a cop shooting or something like that, people want to go on Facebook and post all this Black Lives Matter, all of this other bullshit. And it's like, again, you're not solving the problem. You're just bitching. And then there's a lot of people who go on Facebook day in, day out, and that's all they see. So that's like, that forms their small little slice of their opinion, and they can't ever think of a bigger opinion because they don't have no more evidence or no more, you know, they don't know how to form a well-rounded opinion. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's just fucked up. I mean, and usually the loudest person or loudest, you know, thing that you hear is usually the one guy who just has a big mouth and don't know any better. The same thing like in YouTube, or the same thing on Xbox Live or PlayStation. You know, it just that same negativity that people hear over and over and over again. It can, I guess, run rampant on weak-minded individuals. I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what set this guy off. I know that I think I read an article where they was like, his family knew that he was into like that Nazi bullshit or whatever. But when it comes to like what you believe in, you know, whether that's faith, you know, dealing with faith or dealing with matters of race, politics, or whatever. I'm not going to say interest, because interests can vary and interests can change over time as you get older. But normally, once people become an adult, their faith, you know, their politics, the way they are, you know, they become jaded. Normally, most people, when they become an adult, none of those things change. You know, like, I'm not going to flip and just become a Republican. Number one, because I'm smart and I'm black and I'm not rich. But, you know, it's, people normally become jaded and they like what they like, and then they don't like anything else. Normally, you have to be a very different kind of person to change your faith or change your politics once you've already established into something. That's what I'm trying to say. And normally, most people, they're not going to just flip and change, you know, as they get older. It's just not going to happen. I think a lot of times with a lot of issues that young people have, they can all be prevented. Like the guy who did this, I think he was like 20 years old, so he just ruined his fucking life. All for something that maybe 10 years from now, maybe 5-10 years from now, he may feel different about. There's been hardcore racists who at one point in their time were like super racist and willing to kill black people. Hell, some have killed other members of other races, including black people. And then you get 15 years later, they're like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking back in the day. I was dumb as shit. And now, you know, now they're a whole different kind of person. And but those are few and far between when you come to that racist bullshit. Only because if you normally most, or I can't say most, any group of people, you know, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, we all do it as a species. We gravitate towards what we know or what we like, or like-minded individuals. So if that's all you are, if let's say you join a racist group or whatever, and that's like the people you hang with day in, day out, if you don't ever see the different type of view, or if you don't ever break away from that to form your own opinion, you're going to be stuck in that little circle with everybody else who feels the same way. So you're never going to change as a person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm thinking different. Maybe I'm weirder or different than everybody else, or different than the common person. Let me just say that. I know I'm not the only one who thinks this way, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I wish we as people, given in today's day and age, with all the advances in technology that we have, in a whole lot of ways, we're still primitive and stupid as fuck.
30 seconds remaining.
With no... And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't see it changing no time soon. Like, no time soon. Like, I mean, we can post all of the rallies and, you know, do all the good things in the world, but racism and human greed and the way that a lot of people get over on somebody else, they feel like they gotta get over on somebody else, or those kind of sort of people with that thieving mentality where they always scheming to get more money out of somebody, you know, or the people that's willing to sell out, that don't give a fuck about integrity, don't care about enough about other people not to hurt them as long as they get theirs. You know, don't care about, you know, the Griffiths of the world who don't care who they got to step on to get on top, you know.
Play of the game.
You know, throwing my little Berserk anime reference in there. Fuck Griffith. But it's just one of those things where I don't see none of those, the negative cesspool of humanity, whatever you want to call it, those negative emotions. I don't see them going nowhere no time soon. I mean, I keep saying it to friends and family, like, the only thing that I can picture that if it were to suddenly happen that would unify like humanity, I mean, we would have to have like an extinction level event. Like, it would have to be something like out of Ender's Game, where like aliens come down and wipe out humanity, and we're like, oh shit, we're about to get wiped out. Let's fuck up these green aliens, you know? And then we would just be racist towards them, but at least we as a people would be united in our survival. That's the only way I can see that happening. I mean, unless you pull like an ending from like Deus Ex or something and like make everybody think like a damn computer or some shit where we all have the same knowledge base or some bullshit like that. But that's high-end science fiction stuff, so I mean, we gotta get up there and do some of that shit. I don't know, maybe in the next few hundred years things may start to change, but it's gonna be no time soon. I give it maybe 300, 400 years from now, maybe we might change at that point, or begin to change some things, you know. But if it's not one thing, it's going to be another. If it's not race, it's going to be money. If it's not money, it's going to be country. If it's not country, it's going to be religion. If it's not religion, it's going to be fuck. I mean, there's always going to be something that we're going to be fighting over, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, and people get way too emotional, and I don't understand it. Like I can go back for a while. Like look at Trump. Like when Trump's presidency, all of that bullshit. You know, people getting heated over that shit. I don't know football, but I keep seeing it on my Facebook timeline. Colin Kaepernick or whatever for him. All he doing is kneeling at a damn football game, you know, and people getting up in arms about that, about how he should be kicked out and all that shit. And he ain't even doing shit to nobody. You know? And it's like it's like people get so mad and so frustrated over like the world's dumbest shit. And it's like, we already got enough problems. Why you getting mad over bullshit? You know? It's like, I'd be getting mad over some shit that's like gonna actually matter. Like, you know, get mad that get mad over the fact that our healthcare system in America is a fucking joke. you know, or that our government is so inept and so fucked up in a lot of ways that Trump actually became president. You know, get mad over that shit. You know? Oh, man. I just don't get it, YouTube. I really don't. But anyways, I can ramble over the next hour, so I'm just going to cut it here. But if any of you guys got anything to say about anything I talked about, let me know down in the comments below. I always like to debate and have discussions in the comments, things like that. I'm trying to bring a whole bigger community side to my channel. That's why I kind of split my channels up. For those of you who don't know, I had pretty much one Let's Play channel, and I did commentaries, gameplays, reviews, and you know, everything that fit my interests I put on that channel. And I basically decided, I was like, you know what, let me make different channels for different things. So basically I have a commentary channel, that's what this is going up on. Then I have a Let's Play channel, that's where my gameplays and stuff is going to be up on. So if you guys want to see me play games, make fun of games while I'm playing, I'm going to talk a lot of shit. I'm going to be doing that over there. And then I also started a VR channel where I'm doing stuff on there and doing Let's Plays and commentaries strictly about VR on that. Since I have an Oculus Rift and everything. So if you guys, you know, want to see something like, you know, like that from me, the names of the channels are going to always be in the upper right hand corner of the video, and I'll leave links in the comments and things like that if you guys want to, you know, check out some of my other stuff. But anyways, my name is Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.